Good day, scholars. So, we're going to take our conversational time signatures a little further today. Now, we've learned about 4-4, which means top number is a 4, 4 beats per measure. Since the bottom number is a 4, that means that bottom number tells you what gets one beat. Since it's a 4 on the bottom, that means anytime you see a quarter note, that quarter note equals one beat, okay? So if I did do, 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 I have what you would call a complete measure. I did do 4 times. Do, 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 do. That was 4 beats. Quarter note gets one whole beat, so I only need 4 beats. Do, 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 do. I'm finished, okay? I'm finished with that measure. Now, we're going to take it a little step further, okay? Also, if I go too fast, feel free to pause and rewind if you must. Okay? Now, just for the sake of clarity, we're going to go down here where our staff is. Okay? Go ahead and get a piece of paper if you need to, so you can draw these 5 lines on the staff. 5 lines on the staff. Okay? Now, since I have a staff, I'm going to go ahead and draw my treble clef. Looks like I need to replace the tape. No. Now that you're drawing your treble clef, instead of 4-4, instead of the time signature 4-4, we're going to do a new time signature. It's called 6-8. Okay, 6-8. Now, with the 6-8 time signature, what does that tell you? Top number is 6, which means how many beats am I going to have in my whole measure? 6, just like how it was when it was 4-4. Top number is 4, which means I need 4 beats. Right here, top number 6, which means I need 6 beats. Now, the bottom number is going to change up a little bit, okay? As you can see, my bottom number is an 8 instead of a 4. Now, at first, the 4 got 1 beat. But now, since we're an 8, since there's an 8 on the bottom, the 8th note equals 1 beat. Okay? Which means if I draw a quarter note now, it's actually worth twice as much. Because in 6-8, the 8th note gets the beat, which makes the quarter note even bigger now. Instead of getting 1 beat, it gets 2 beats. Okay? So instead of 1 beat, it gets 2 beats. All right? Now, think of it this way. In 4-4, think of everything being grouped in 2s. So 4-4 is groups of 2s. In 6-8, I want you to think of it like this. Groups of 3s. Okay? So 4-4 is groups of 2s. 6-8 is groups of 3s. That being the case, let's move ahead. Okay? And also, if this is confusing, or if I'm going too fast, please email me, or even message me through YouTube, or send me a comment or message me through YouTube, and I will see it. Okay? And this is my email. Rashad.burton@libertasmemphis.org. Excuse me. Ord. But anyway, so 4-4 groups of 2s, 6-8 groups of 3s. But we're not going to think about 4-4 right now. So let's clean the slate. Don't even think about 4-4 right now. All right. Moving on to 6-8, I need 6 beats per measure. which means if I really just drew 6 eighth notes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'd be done. I have 6 eighth notes. So technically I have 6 beats in my measure. It's not even technically. I have 6 beats in my measure. Close it off with a double bar line, okay? And if you're confused about these 2 lines I draw at the end of my measure, for the sake of understanding, I'll just draw one for now. When I draw a bar line, I close off my measure. That means I'm finished with that measure. And if I wanted to keep going with my music, I can. And I'll go on to a new measure. So that measure is finished since it has 6 beats. And then I can go to another measure and get another 6 beats. Okay. So now I have 6 beats in this measure, 6 beats in this measure. All right. But let's take away this measure and go back and dealing with this. And let's go back and deal with just this one measure. Okay. So since I have 6 eighth notes, I have 6 beats. But now we're going to have to group these correctly, okay? That way it won't be all over the place. And because right now I'm looking at 6 different groups, okay? I see 6 eighth notes by themselves, functioning by themselves. But we're going to clean it up a little bit. Do you remember how we tied together 2 eighth notes? We took away their flags and we connected them, and now it was a do-they. They're just 2 eighth notes tied together. Remember how we did that? We're going to do the same with these eighth notes, okay? Just like we did with 2 eighth notes. If we have 3 eighth notes, we can tie those together as well. Remember, in 4/4, we're tying off in groups of 2s. So that's why we only had 2 eighth notes tied together. But since we're in 6/8, we need groups of 3s. So instead of tying 2 eighth notes together, we can now tie 3 eighth notes together. Okay? And another musical form, some people may also call this a triplet. Okay? But we'll deal with that later. I'll write that on the side. A triplet. Just like if 3 children are born at the same time, or 3 groups of stars maybe, or 3 of anything. It's a triplet, okay? Or a trio. It's just 3, okay? Tri is 3. Now that we have that, and now that we know we can tie together 3 eighth notes, let's do this in 6/8. Let's take these 3 eighth notes and let's tie them together. Sorry about that. And now let's take these 3 eighth notes and let's tie them together. Now it looks neater. And now we have our groups of 3s, okay? Okay. Now, we're not going to call it do-day like we did this pair of eighth notes here. It's not going to be do-day anymore. Oh, can't write today. So that's do-day. We're not going to do that though. This will be called do, da, di. Okay? Just like triplet, do, da, di. Okay? We're breaking it up into 3 syllables. So, let me write this a little bit clearer so that you can see. Remember, we're not doing do-day. We're now moving into do, da, di. Do, da, di. Do, da, di, 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 do, da, di. We're doing do-da-dis now. Okay? So, whenever you see the 3 eighth notes tied together, You're going to call that, when we do rhythm syllables, it's going to be do, da, di. 1, 2, 3, do, da, di. Okay? And whenever you see the pair of eighth notes, which is 2, it'll be do, day. So you have do, day, and then you have do, da, di. Okay? All right, but we usually do the do, da, di's when we're in 6/8. We'll do days when we're back in 4/4. Do, da, di is not going to fit in 4/4. Okay? All right, because when we group them, it'll end up being uneven. Okay, because it's 3s and 4/4 is more groups of 2s. All right? That being said, we have one more. Now, I did remember when I told you the quarter note gets 2 beats. Okay? That being said, let's say I take away one of these groups of eighth notes. I need 3 beats now. I just have 3 in this measure now. 1, 2, 3, because these are still eighth notes. So 1, 2, 3. I need 3 more beats. Now, if I just drew a quarter note right here, will I have 6 beats? No. It would only be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the quarter note is only 2 beats. So now we're going to have to fix that. Now we're going to give the quarter note a little dot. Okay? And like I said, feel free to draw these on your paper. This is not just a quarter note anymore. It's called a dotted quarter note. Dotted quarter note. Now, since a quarter note gets 2 beats, if I had a dotted quarter note, it'll be 3 beats. Okay? A dotted quarter note is 3 beats. A regular quarter note in 6/8 is only 2 beats. So a dotted quarter note in 6/8 is going to be 3 beats. Okay? Now that we have the dotted quarter note, since we're in 6/8, we don't have to worry about this one right now. Okay? We don't have to worry about the quarter note anymore. Because in 6/8, we're going to deal mainly with the groups of 3 eighth notes tied together and the dotted quarter note. All right? And this will still be do. It'll just stretch out to be a longer do. Do. Okay? So, if I were to do this measure and say this measure for you on rhythm syllables, it'll be something like this. First, I'll get my beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here I go. Do, da, dee, do. I'll slow it down. Remember, I need 6 beats. Do, da, dee, do. Do, da, dee, do. Do, da, dee, do. If you haven't noticed, my dotted quarter note, it's still got 3 beats. Do, da, dee, do. You have to stretch that do out for a whole 3 beats, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With that dot, that's what gave that quarter note that extra beat it needed to complete this measure. I need 6 beats. I have 3 right here, and I have 3 right here. My measure is completed now. Okay? Now, let's say I took away this. And I drew another dotted quarter note. Is my measure finished? Yes, it is. 3 beats right here, 3 beats right here. So if I were to say this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do. I'll I'll do it again. Also, feel free to count to see if I'm getting 6 beats. Each one of these taps I'm doing, each one of those taps is a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 6 taps to complete this measure, okay? First, I'm keeping the beat. 1, 2, 3, 1. Here I go. Do, da, oops, that's a do. Do, do. Do, do. 6 beats in that measure. Dotted quarter note here, dotted quarter note here. That's 6 beats, all right? So feel free to rewind this video if you need a little bit more practice understanding how 4/4 and 6/8 works. And we'll be practicing on this a little bit more. I know for some this might have been a little confusing today or a little bit more difficult, but just like the old saying goes, practice makes perfect. Feel free to email me and contact me through YouTube if you need any help or if you have any questions, and I will be sure to respond to you at my earliest convenience. Thank you, and good practicing, kids and parents.